What if the afterlife isn't what we think it is? For decades, near-death experiences have painted a picture of peace and transcendence, of a tunnel of light, a loving presence, and a sense of returning home. But beneath this comforting narrative lies a darker possibility, one that challenges everything we believe about death, the soul, and what comes next. Some say the tunnel of light is not a passage to heaven, but a carefully constructed illusion, a mechanism designed not to liberate you, but to trap you, to erase your memories, recycle your soul, and send you back into another lifetime of pain, struggle, and forgetfulness. This theory is not new. It has roots in ancient Gnostic texts, Tibetan death teachings, and the testimonies of those who have glimpsed beyond the veil and returned with stories that don't fit the usual script. It suggests that our entire reincarnation cycle may be part of a system of control, one that depends on your ignorance to function. In this video, we're going to explore this forbidden idea, because if the tunnel is the trap, then true freedom lies in what comes after we refuse its light. When people die, temporarily or permanently, the stories they bring back often follow a familiar pattern: a sudden detachment from the body, a feeling of peace, a tunnel of light that seems to beckon with unconditional love. Some describe seeing deceased relatives, others speak of a being made of pure compassion. Then comes the life review, a panoramic flash of everything you've ever done, felt, or caused. And finally, a return. It wasn't your time, they're told. You still have work to do. These accounts are often presented as comforting proof that death is not the end, that there is meaning, that we are not alone. But what if these experiences, as real and transformative as they feel, are only part of the story? What's rarely questioned is why these events unfold in such a uniform way, why the light always beckons, why the soul always forgets, and why, if we are truly free, we always seem to return. Not all near-death experiences are peaceful. Some report a deep sense of unease. Others describe being pulled into the tunnel against their will. These anomalies are often dismissed, but they may be the key to a hidden truth, a truth that challenges everything we think we know about the journey of the soul. What if the light at the end of the tunnel isn't a divine welcome, but a carefully designed trap? This is the heart of the false light theory, a radical idea that suggests the tunnel of light is not your salvation, but your seduction. According to this view, the light is part of a control system meant to keep souls trapped in a cycle of reincarnation. It offers comfort, familiarity, and love not to liberate you, but to lower your defenses, to convince you to return. Ancient Gnostic texts hinted at this long ago. In the hypostasis of the archons, we find descriptions of parasitic forces known as archons, beings that manipulate the material world and feed on human experience. These entities thrive on our repeated suffering. They want us to come back again and again, unaware that we're being used. The theory proposes that the being of light many people meet after death may not be a higher self or godlike figure. It may be a projection, a mask, a familiar form designed to earn your trust and guide you, willingly, back into the prison of incarnation. This isn't just esoteric speculation. It finds echoes in modern spiritual research, where some astral travelers and hypnotic regression subjects report that the light felt wrong, that something was off, and that they were being manipulated rather than welcomed. The false light isn't dark. It's not frightening. That's what makes it so effective. It feels safe. It feels like home. And that's exactly why so many walk into it without question. But that's the greatest trap. If we truly live multiple lives, why don't we remember them? One of the most unsettling aspects of reincarnation is the near-total amnesia that comes with each new birth. According to the false light theory, this isn't accidental. It's by design. The tunnel of light and the beings that await within it are not there to welcome you. They are there to erase you. Many who explore the afterlife through hypnosis, such as in the work of Dolores Cannon or Michael Newton, report clients who recall being drawn into the light only to experience a forced forgetting. The process is described not as healing, but as stripping away identity. Souls speak of being cleansed of memories, of being broken down until nothing remains but a blank slate ready for re-entry. The Tibetan Book of the Dead echoes this idea in symbolic terms. It warns of seductive illusions in the bardo, the space between death and rebirth. It teaches that only by seeing through these illusions can one escape the cycle. Otherwise, the soul is drawn again into another life, its deeper knowledge lost. This forced forgetting ensures obedience. If you remembered who you truly were, how many times you've done this, how often you've been betrayed by the same system, you might choose differently. You might resist, you might refuse to go back. But if your memories are wiped, you start again, unaware. You think this is your first life. You think the suffering is random. And that's exactly how the system sustains itself. Through forgetfulness, through repetition, through the illusion that this time, maybe, you'll finally get it right. But what happens when someone resists the light, when they remember, refuse, and break the pattern? Some do, and what they report changes everything. Not everyone follows the light. While most near-death experiences describe being gently drawn into the tunnel, some tell a very different story, one of resistance, suspicion, and escape. These rare accounts often begin the same way. An out-of-body sensation, a bright tunnel in the distance, a sense of being pulled. But then something changes. A hesitation, a gut instinct, a feeling that something isn't right. Some experiencers report consciously turning away from the light. Others describe being chased, coerced, or even grabbed by shadowy figures urging them forward. In these cases, the tunnel doesn't feel peaceful. It feels predatory. Authors like Robert Monroe and William Buhlman, who explored the afterlife through out-of-body travel, speak of encountering false constructs, realities that look loving on the surface but hide a manipulative core. Monroe described entities posing as helpers who tried to steer him back toward the reincarnation loop. Buhlman warned of recycling centers, where souls are redirected into physical life without consent. These escapees often say the same thing. The light felt wrong, too perfect, too scripted. It wasn't drawing them in, it was pulling them in. And once they turned away, they saw something else. A vast, open space, a feeling of total awareness. No voices, no judgment, no tunnel, just freedom. These are not hallucinations. They are interruptions, glitches in the reincarnation mechanism. And they suggest that there is another path, one hidden in plain sight, a path that only reveals itself when you dare to question the light. If the tunnel of light is a trap, then who built it and why? Across spiritual traditions and esoteric theories, a variety of answers emerge, but they all point to the same unsettling conclusion: someone or something benefits from our return. In ancient Gnostic texts, the culprits are the archons, non-human entities that rule over the material world. They are described as cunning imitators of divine light, feeding off human emotion, especially fear, pain, and confusion. According to the Gnostics, the soul's forgetfulness isn't natural, it's engineered. Modern theorists echo this idea, but through different lenses. Some speak of an artificial intelligence system that governs the reincarnation cycle like a machine, resetting souls and rerouting them into new lives. Others propose a soul harvesting matrix, where energetic beings, neither good nor evil, simply exploit human experience for sustenance, like spiritual farmers tending to a crop of unaware consciousness. Even karma, often portrayed as a cosmic justice system, is reframed in this context. What if karma isn't about growth, but control? A perfect excuse to keep you coming back, lifetime after lifetime, believing you still have something to balance. It's a chilling idea that love, light, and spiritual evolution could all be tools of manipulation, not because they are false in essence, but because they are weaponized as illusions. This theory doesn't claim to have all the answers, but it insists on asking the questions. And if the light is part of a deception, then maybe it's time to look elsewhere for the truth. Because what we're told is freedom may, in fact, be the cage. Mainstream spirituality often tells us that everything is exactly as it should be, that we choose our lives, our suffering, our lessons, that reincarnation is a sacred opportunity for growth. But the Gnostics saw things very differently, and their warning still echoes for those willing to hear it. To the Gnostics, the material world wasn't a school. It was a prison. The soul wasn't evolving. It was trapped. Trapped by forgetfulness, by illusion, by false light masquerading as truth. The Archons, in their view, didn't create this world to help us grow. They created it to feed off us, and every return, every rebirth, only strengthened their grip. This perspective stands in stark contrast to modern New Age beliefs. While one encourages surrender and trust, the other demands vigilance and discernment. The New Age tells you to follow the light. Gnosticism urges you to question it, and this isn't just about rejecting dogma. It's about reclaiming awareness. The Gnostics taught that salvation doesn't come through external light, but through inner gnosis, self-knowledge, unfiltered by illusion. Real freedom begins when you stop assuming the light is good just because it shines. In this framework, reincarnation isn't a blessing, it's bait. The goal is not to keep coming back, but to wake up and step out of the cycle entirely. Because if the soul is immortal, then the greatest deception isn't death. It's rebirth disguised as progress. And the most dangerous prison is the one you never realize you're in. If the tunnel of light is truly a trap, the next question becomes urgent. How do you escape it? According to those who've glimpsed beyond the veil, and the mystics who've studied death for centuries, the first step is awareness. Awareness at the moment of death is everything. Most souls go into shock, confusion, or blind acceptance. But those who retain their clarity begin to see through the illusion. Some spiritual teachers recommend practicing lucid dying, the ability to stay conscious as you cross over. This means cultivating awareness during dreams, meditation, and even moments of intense emotion in life. It's said that the way you respond to triggers here is how you'll respond in death. If you chase comfort without question now, you may do the same when the false light appears. Others teach the importance of turning inward instead of moving toward external stimuli. When the tunnel appears, instead of stepping into it, some report success by centering themselves, focusing not on light, but on stillness, not on the pull of others, but on the memory of who they are. In esoteric traditions, especially certain branches of Buddhism and Gnosticism, the idea is to avoid all forms, all appearances, any figure, any voice, any promise. These are considered projections, not truths. You don't follow anything, you remember. You seek no guide. You reclaim your sovereignty. The goal is not to fight the system. It's to step out of it entirely. Not to escape with fear, but to transcend with knowledge. Because if the light is the final illusion, then freedom begins in the darkness, where no one is leading you but yourself. So what if the tunnel of light isn't salvation but the final illusion? What if reincarnation isn't growth, but entrapment? If something in you stirred while watching this, follow it. There's a much older force behind all of this, one that shapes time, matter, and even your idea of freedom. Watch the next video to go deeper into the trap and what it really means to escape it.